Hi folks. Okay, so here we are with, well, this is going to be a short one, and shortish. I kind of have a lot to say. It's about the male marriage counselor that we visited today, Donna and I. For those who haven't been watching, we were going to a female marriage counselor before, and I felt like the female was taking Donna's side, and they have telepathic vaginas, and they gang up on men just instinctively, or whatever is going on with women. And I posted about that, and I thought it was a good idea to go and see a male marriage counselor to get somebody who might understand my perspective. My wedding ring arrived, by the way. I had to order another one, and those who have been watching know that I lost the last one, so that's good. It's kind of a symbol in a way, you know. When I lost the wedding ring, we started getting really butting heads. Almost like, well, I don't know. I don't even know a symbol of what. We were already butting heads, but okay. I would say this guy was a little bit of a disaster. I didn't want to ever go back, actually. And Donna has convinced me on the car ride to give it one more try with this guy, because she was really happy with the way things went. Of course, she was really happy because the entire session was sort of about me and aimed at me, and he was focusing on my issues, and like what, you know, it's like I can't win with these, you know. I think this is what it is. There was this Facebook quote going around about how stupid people think that smart people are crazy people. I think that I've got this level of intelligence, and I've risen up out of the normal status quo mentality, and people align against me, it seems like, because my ideas are threatening and unconventional, just like every single rebel in history has been unconventional and threatening. And you know, they made Galileo recant and say that the sun revolves around the earth, or they were going to kill him. And not that I'm doing anything that profound, but I sort of am. I mean, not really, but sort of. Preaching honesty and being honest is not as momentous as figuring out that the earth revolves around the sun, but it's up there in a day and age like this where everything is a lie and everyone wears a mask, okay? So, let me begin by saying that I had a suspicion that any man who goes into counseling field is definitely almost automatically a beta male, okay? I predicted that that was going to happen. You can see it on video. I predicted it a few days ago, and it turns out that I was right. Because it's kind of self-evident in a way, if you think about it. I mean, it's not a very manly thing to do, to go and be like, well, I just want to go into counseling. You know, oh, there we go. Bacon, lettuce, and tomatoes are going to get upset again. Okay. Anyway. So, yeah. So, the guy had a wedding ring on his finger, and he kept talking about his partner. He didn't say wife ever. I was listening for it once I got suspicious. He's from New York, and in New York they allow gays to get married. So going on in the back of my head this whole time as I listened to this man who's kind of got that effeminate, not like a real like girly way of talking, but just like a little bit effeminate. I was very suspicious that this guy is actually a fucking flamer. You know, honestly, you know, he's a poop shoot spelunker. You know, seriously. I I just could sense it pretty early on. I mean, within 5-10 minutes, I started getting suspicious. And the partner thing was, alright, like, next week I'll seriously ask him outright. I'll say, so, where did you and your wife meet? Or, you know, something leading like that, and see how he responds. Because who wants marriage advice from a gay guy? You know, he can be married because some, you know, crackpot liberal state allows it, but the fact is that the kind of marriage that straight people have and the kind of marriage that gay people have are two completely different worlds. And, you know, even if it was just a psychologist who's gay counseling a client who's heterosexual, that doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Those are two different social worlds, and this person over here cannot relate to the world that this person over here is in, and vice versa. It's totally different dynamics that each person has been dealing with regarding their sexuality for their entire lives since they became sexual beings, and therefore there's all this person can do as an authority. Alright, sorry about the delay there. I just got cut off because we have a 16 gigabyte memory card in this camera, and it was full, and it just beeped at me to tell me that it wasn't recording anymore, and I walked over to look at it, having a feeling it might have been full, and it had missed, I don't know, a couple minutes before it beeped at me. I'd been talking. So I had to go and download and delete the whole card so I can continue. Anyway, what I was saying was about the counselor, the gay counselor, that I'm assuming is gay. A gay counselor, not this guy, whether he is or not, whatever, I'll find out next week. But this guy, or another one who's definitely an outed gay person, counseling a straight person just doesn't mesh. It doesn't work. I think even the LGBT community will acknowledge the fact that that will not work, because they wouldn't want a straight person counseling them, would they? It's a whole different dynamic. It just is. This is not prejudice. This is nature. This is actual science and biology. That these are totally different dynamics. So, moving on. I just fixated on that because I think that he's a beta. That's obvious, and as an alpha male, I can just sort of sense that in a person. Okay, and he's not only is he a beta anyway, but his partner is probably the manly one, and he's the girly one, you know. So I don't even know if gay men can be alpha males. You know, the butchy gay men, or the manly, you know, the army gay men, or whatever. I don't know. Are they alpha males? Is it even possible to have an alpha male who's a homosexual? I don't think it is. I think the whole point of, like, being an alpha has more to do with biology. There was a study done with gorillas, and it was 10 males and 10 females in captivity, and the strongest male took all 10 females for himself, and the other 9 males all became gay. So, are any of those alphas? No, they're not. So in society, why would we assume that any of them, if they were alphas, they would be strong enough to dominate in the heterosexual arena and reproduce themselves, I would assume. But I'm not invested in this opinion. I think it's logic. I think it's science, you know, but whatever. So, anyway, our beta counselor was talking about sensitivity and trying to have me be sensitive, and the things that Donna was upset about. Like, he said, why do you get so upset if she makes a comment when you're shooting? And can't you just reshoot? Well, I can, and I've had to. Probably 2 times before. Because she interrupted and I lost the flow. And it's like when you're writing a letter to somebody on the computer and then the computer fucking deletes it. And you go and try to recapture the thoughts, but it's not, it doesn't flow the way that it flowed when you were right there with the thoughts. So that was my argument, you know. And then she brought up my drinking, and he wanted to go into my drinking. Well, it's been said for, you know, hundreds of years that women drive men to drink, you know. It's just like it's like a platitude or something, you know. I think that that's something that we've also seen. You know, it's like, oh, nobody talks about it, but, you know, what happens when people get married? They definitely start drinking more, and sex dwindles, and blah, blah, blah. So, regarding sex, he was going on the sensitivity thing and asking me about being sensitive to her needs, and I brought up the book that I wanted to say Touch of Grey, Shades of Grey, 50 Shades, and her recent fixation with this idea of the rich alpha male that is sort of dominating BDSM. I wish I had a good sandwich acronym for that. That's right. I don't know, but we sort of came to, well, the other thing was the McNews came up as something that is a passion of mine that I care about, and she actually said something about it being a pipe dream. And the thing is, this is not a pipe dream. I'm not expecting, oh, the McNews is going to make me a rich man and I'm going to become a famous newscaster. That's not what I'm in it for. I don't care either way. I just have this feeling that honesty is what's lacking in the entire media nowadays. And, you know, Facebook is a lie. Nobody's talking about what they actually are going through. You know, when they wake up and they feel horrible about life and themselves, everyone gets on Facebook and starts posting these positive quotes. It's almost like it's this opposite of what people are actually going through. And you can see that when you look at the people that are really fixated on those little quotes and stuff. It's like you're spending how many hours per day trying to convince yourself that you feel positive. Well, yeah, you want to feel positive, but wasting your life posting positive messages on Facebook is not the same as being positive about life. So, in the end, we just decided that we had to agree to disagree on this, you know, the entire, what I think the McNews means, what she thinks the McNews means, what, you know, okay, I don't know. Okay, so I took some notes here because I didn't want to miss any of this epicness, but, oh, okay, the one other thing that came up that I haven't covered yet was the wedding ring that I lost, because I don't like wearing jewelry. I just don't like it. I don't feel comfortable with it, you know, on my body. I feel, even this, I feel just, I can feel it squeezing, you know, and, you know, Donnie's got this thing where he likes to, you know, piggyback, and then he'll have his hands or his arms around my neck, and it's like, it's not like I can't breathe or anything, but I just, get off my neck, I'm constantly telling him, it's just, I don't like that squeezing feeling. So, Donna had brought this up before, and it caused a blowout fight, and she brought it up in this session as well with this male counselor, and, why did you take your wedding ring off, Don? And she was suspicious that I had taken it off so I could go out and wouldn't look like I was married and could have an affair or a one-night stand or something with another woman. But the thing is that I don't really go out that much. I mean, and when I do, you know, if I go out with Jeff or my buddies, you know, maybe we'll play poker. Maybe we'll watch a movie. Maybe we'll go out to a bar. But you know what? We don't get drunk. And we are pretty much home by midnight or 1 o'clock. If you need to, like, sniff me and give me the sniff test, there's no perfume on me. There's no makeup on me. I haven't showered to clean any odors off of another woman. I'm just out, you know, having some social time maybe once every 2 weeks. And she has girls' night out every single week. I did a McNews on her girls' night out because she'll stay out till 4 in the morning. And usually when somebody accuses somebody else of having an affair, it's because there's some guilt inside of them. And I'm not saying Donna's having any kind of affair. I always, you know, those nights I get a little paranoid. But she comes home and we talk about it, and it's like, okay, all right, yeah, you know, just next time, you know. And she's normally pretty good about checking in, you know, if she's going to be late or something. But, it's, I was a little hurt by that insinuation, and I got a little frustrated in the therapy session. But of course, the reason that people go to therapy is because relationships aren't easy, and you need to be mediated when you talk about heated subjects. Otherwise, you're just pushing buttons. And this is something that he told us that was really insightful, and I appreciated it. Even if he is gay, I appreciated the idea that one person says this, then the other person says this, and the other person, and see, it's going up and it's escalating, and you've already, you know, lost sight of the entire conversation because you're like, well, you did this, no, well, yeah, but you did that, and it's like, it just turns into the same kind of bullshit that, you know, everyone is trying to avoid. It's childish, it's very, very immature, and anyway, yeah, so I lost my ring at the gym. Now, I could have kept my ring on while I was swimming and playing basketball and working out, but I just don't like the way it feels. I don't like it when I'm using weight machines. I don't like it when I'm doing anything, you know, physical, using my hands. So I took it off and I set it down, and I looked, you know, I asked them to look for it. I asked for the lost and found, and somebody took it, and okay. I mean, this is a nice YMCA, and it doesn't have that vibe to it that you associate with the YMCA, you know, from the 1980s and the Village People song and the gay cruising place. It's a nice upscale, you know, middle class YMCA. There's really no reason to think anybody would steal it, but it wasn't there. Nobody found it, you know, it wasn't reported, so okay, I'm going to have to assume somebody took it, but nah, that's the second wedding ring I've lost in a year and a half. The first one was on our honeymoon, and I was at the ocean, St. George's Key, and I went swimming, and I left in my sandal, and then I put my sandals on when I got back, not thinking about it, because I just don't remember that kind of thing, and went to our cabana, and went back to the beach to look for it and couldn't find it. I'm, you know, digging in the sand, and, whatever. So, you can say that I'm a careless person when it comes to things like that, and that I don't have a good attention span for that kind of thing, which is true, but to make that leap and be like, well, what kind of man loses 2 wedding rings? Does our marriage not mean anything to you? You know, to make that leap into that kind of a space is a wholly fallacious argument. Anyway, it got a little heated in there, and he was really good at bringing it down. Whenever there was any kind of escalation, he would point to us. Oh, you guys are escalating. And so it happened like 3 or 4 times, and we started catching it and seeing, wow, he's onto something here about our dynamic. That's probably the only reason that I agreed to go again, because otherwise I felt like he was like her gay BFF, and they're just like, you know, insidiously man-bashing me, and while you know, speak sensitively digging into the way that I am. I'm a sensitive person, I really am, and I'm a thoughtful person. So I'm coming out of that without too many conclusions, I guess. I don't know what my opinion is on the subject. And how often does Don McNewski not know his opinion? I mean, I pretty much have my opinions defined, very well defined, and I can argue them to death. I know exactly how I feel about most things, but I was challenged, and I appreciate that on that level. So I'm keeping an open mind, and I will proceed onward with that. And okay, enough about my personal life. Yeah, it sounds like a soap opera, but you know what? Life is one big soap opera that we're all acting in. We're all members of this soap opera. We all have our roles, and these characters all interact on these stages with us, and emotions come out because we're human. So, wishing you a very wonderful night. I'm feeling good. Don McCluskey out. I always want to say McNewski. It's kind of cheesy. When I first started, I thought it was funny, but now it's like an alternate. You know, it's a character, but it's like kind of a cheesy character name. So I kind of want to change it. Donna suggested that I should call my short McNewses Don's 3 cents, or my 3 cents. You know, because everyone gets to put in their 2 cents, but I have an extra penny to put in, an extra cent that I need to speak about, and that's the entire reason that I do this, and I like that. But I don't know if I wish I could have gotten the website to be something like that, you know, Don's 3 cents. That would have been good, but I already bought the website, and so whatever. Anyway, okay. Have a good night. Don McNewski out.